Hello and welcome back to BMX Madness themed t-shirt help video. This is chapter 4, editing the file in Adobe Photoshop. In this chapter, we'll talk about how to edit this template within Photoshop and how to edit colors and change text. My name is Maria, I'm a graphic designer and I'll be your guide throughout this tutorial. So let's get started. Let's open up our Photoshop. We go to File, Open, and we're gonna open the color version. As you can see, you have the light and the dark versions here. Let's work on the light one. There are two different folders with text and design. Here in the design folder, you'll have all the different elements already created. Now, the first step is to set the foreground and the background color. I'm just gonna, let's make this a little bit greener. Okay. I'm gonna select, let's say I just wanna change the foreground color. Let me just place, and maybe the yellow should be a little stronger. Oops. Not 645, 65. Okay. Now, there are two different ways of editing the colors. You can double click on the shape layer and then select the color here, as you can see. Or you can select your file, and depending on whether you want it to be, you want to turn this brown into green or yellow. Let's say we want to turn it into green. For the foreground, you go to Alt Backspace, and for the background, you go to Control Backspace. And unfortunately, we'll have to do that to all of the different elements we hear. So foreground color, Alt Backspace. This is a lot of foreground color. I'm gonna change the splash. Okay, and finally let's change this. And voila, we've changed the colors here. Fortunately, we'll have to go step by step. I used to, because it's a CS 5.5 version, there are some issues with grouping and creating the color for all the elements in the design. I have to use masks, and then it gets a little tricky if you want to change a certain element outside the colors panel. So this is why I have to do it color by color. When it comes to editing the text colors, it's the same process. So we want to change it to this green, which means we want to change it to foreground color. Look, if I change which color is foreground and background, that is going to change how the colors are going to be, how we are going to color this text. Let's say for some reason working with this, I've changed this to be foreground and this background. So now if I select Alt Backspace, it's going to change it to yellow. And I want it to be green. Easy. Make sure which one is what. In this case, it's background color, so I'm just going to select Control Backspace. Control Backspace, and that's it. I've changed the color scheme. It's going to take you some while. Photoshop is a great application, but I strongly recommend working either in InDesign or Illustrator when it comes to editing these templates, because it's going to take you a lot more time to do this in Photoshop. Okay, now let's talk about text. Like any other Adobe software, you can either select T here in your panel, or just simply press T on your keyboard. And when you hover over the editable text, it's just going to show this little cursor. And let's type in smart. And now I want to change this to be, let's say, all caps. I open up the character panel, press the all caps, and here we go. Now we can make it bold, we can make it italic, we can change the font, we can change the font style, size. This is bleeding. Basically what that means, if you have multiple lines of text, this is the space between those lines. When it comes to tracking, this is the space between individual letters. So if I make my tracking, let's say 50, as you can see it's going to get wider. I can change the vertical and horizontal scale. And the good thing about all the applications here in Photoshop, in Adobe, once you hover over the icon, it's going to get you the description, what it's called and what it does. So that's it. Now we have our design finished. We save this file first. Go to File, Save. And then we're gonna, before we send it to be printed, we're gonna select these two text layers, right click, and then press here rasterize type. And once we've done that, we save this file again, let's say with addition, you name the file, I don't know, Smart Madness print file, to know that this is non-editable version of the text. Make sure to have those two files, because let's say you want to go back and change something, you don't have to go through the entire process. You open your file with editable text, change the text there, maybe change a little bit more colors, and that's it. All that is left to do now is to pack the file and send it to be printed. That was it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, suggestions, anything you need to ask me about this template, please don't hesitate to send me an email and I'll try to respond as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye!